Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Yes, it is. Hello. Welcome into another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Happy to be here and happy to have you along. Appreciate you being with us on this day as heading towards better weather. But I'm still cold, but it's colder inside than it is outside, which is kind of funny. But it's not exactly warm at the moment. It's still down there in the lower regions, but future looking forward, man. I see 60s by Monday. It's going to hit today's going to climb up to 48, 53, and then it hits the 50s for the next couple of days. And then it goes to the 60s. So the snow's disappearing. That's a good thing. Going to get a nice little water coating for the spring. Man, the flowers should be bumping up when May rolls around, the Kentucky Derby and the Indianapolis 500. Woo, man. The Pacers. Yeah. Oh, man, I that was the question when they made that trade. They got better, which they weren't trying to get better for this year. It's all about next year, looking forward to this draft pick and getting Tyrese Halliburton back. But yeah, they need to stop winning. But ironically, where did I let's see this. So yeah, in the Athletic, there was a piece. Why NBA teams are tanking so hard this year. Now, see, that's the one thing you cannot accuse the Pacers of. They're not tanking. Hell, they had a 3-game winning streak. They traded to get better. So you cannot accuse them of that. The 2026 draft class is viewed as special. So yeah, and you want to be in those first 3 picks without question. You preferably in the first 2. I think Boozer will go third either way, but you never know. It depends on the team, and what their needs actually are. But with that draft class being so nice, teams are racing to the bottom of the standings to get either BYU's AJ DeBansa, Darren Peterson from Kansas, or Cameron Boozer. Those are the 3. Multiple franchises, it says here, are willing to forego competitiveness. Again, you cannot say that about the Pacers. So Brian says they're going to win their way out of a top 4 pick and be 5-9 instead. Yeah, boy, that would be really not good. Let's just be honest. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Thank you, Gritty. Appreciate you. Thank you, Five. Appreciate you, Milt. Yeah. I just, damn. You wish they would lose. I mean, I know from a fan standpoint, that's what you want to see because you want them to get that pick, and I get it. That's a difference maker for that franchise. But that's how these other franchises see it. But daggone it. Come on. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got going here for the Pacers? Where did they, daggone it. Oh, man. I don't see them. Oh, yeah, there it is. On the road in Brooklyn. Beat the Nets. 115 to 110. They're 5-22 on the road. They've won 5 games on the road. That's only 4 less than the Chicago Bulls. I'm just looking at some other teams. Standings right now. The Pacers have worked their way out of last place in the Eastern Conference. They're now a game in front of the Wizards. And then Sacramento leads everybody. By leading, I mean they're dead last with only 12 wins on the season. Then you've got the Pelicans that are 15-41, about what the Pacers are, and the Brooklyn Nets. See, the Nets are one of those teams you don't want to. Thank you, Fred. They're one of those losers. It's easier to beat them, but they've got a lot of games left. A lot of games that can be played. I don't want to say lost because, but they've won 2 in a row. That was after a 4-game losing skid. But the thing is, they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in a row from mid-December to early January. But since then they won 3 straight, lost 1, lost 3 straight, 1, lost 1, 4 straight losses, 2 straight wins. No more big bad streaks like that. They need one more streak of losing. This is so weird to talk about it in this regard. I've got to be honest with you. But they need another losing streak. But I don't see that coming because they're probably coming together a little bit better as a team with Zubac working in there. So there's that. We'll see, man. We'll see. That would just, but yeah, don't. It's a great opportunity. You would just hate to see them win their way out of that. Normally, that's all you are asking for is a team to overachieve, to do the things that you don't think they can do. And yet here, it's the opposite. And I think they should, if they end up that they should win it, well, man, it's just a crazy situation. But these guys, that's the thing. These guys are professional athletes. They don't want to lose. It's not in your DNA to go out and lose. You're being paid as a professional. They are trying to do their jobs to the best of their abilities. So you have got to give them nothing but respect, man, for that. Yeah, I know the other stuff, but that's not what's in their minds. They can't play like that. You don't want athletes that think that way. All you want athletes that their only goal is to win. is to play to the zenith of their abilities and do whatever it takes to make their team better. And that's what they're doing. And so you can't fault them for that. It is what it's supposed to be. And that's how it's going to be. Gonna take a break. Appreciate you being with us. Sid asking, why does Quinn not like Steve Alford? Don't know anything. Don't know. I really don't. But I will say this. James says Zubac's got a busted ankle and should be sitting. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, the players that Bob Knight had, say on that 75, 70, those early teams, those teams in the 70s, that was a different Bob Knight. They got a different Bob Knight. Those 76 players, how old was Knight? In his late 20s then? But anyway, it doesn't matter. He hadn't won a national championship yet. So thank you, Justin. It was a different Bob Knight. He was younger. He wasn't than the guys that played in the 80s. And better yet, the guys that played in the 90s. Think about those early 90s, those great teams with Graham and Pat Graham and Greg Graham and Todd and Bailey and Cheney and all. That was a completely different coach than those guys in the 70s had. He was a different person. They see him, those 76 guys, how he was then, that is what is welded into their minds. And it makes sense. I get that. And it's the same with the other guys, how it was then. But hey, you have to accomplish something great to be considered great. Yep. That is no doubt. Hey, we're going to take a quick one. Coach is going to join us next. Back with plenty more right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Coach Griff joining me now. How are you, sir?
Good day, sir. I'm doing fine.
Thank you very much.
Get my camera focused here.
We've got the NFL draft sneaking up, but it's a ways off yet. The combine will be happening first, and Indiana will be sending a program record 9 players to the combine. Just to give you an understanding, Notre Dame is sending 6. I think that is it's a big deal. I know that Indiana just won the national championship, but they were still. This is a team that won it with those guys those, and I'm not picking on Notre Dame here. I'm just a example. Those 6 guys that Notre Dame are sending, I'd like to. I wish I'd have thought about it. I would have quickly researched to see what they were coming out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
Were these developed guys or were these 5-star guys? And but because the 9 guys that Indiana is sending, where's my list? I'm pretty sure, other than I don't know what Pat Coogan was, but I'm pretty positive none of these other guys were above a 3-star. None.
Yeah, right. No question.
Now, the one thing I am surprised about and I'm upset about, because he was my favorite to watch, Kalon Black.
Yeah.
Not invited. That dude, I mean, he's a freight train. He's going to sign with somebody. I think he's a little freight train.
And he had a good Senior Bowl. He went right down to the Senior Bowl there, and I think it was at Mobile, and had a good showing down there, and was kind of one of the surprises in that setting. I'm not sure how the invitations for the combine are, divvied out. I've heard one time it's being a projected first to third round type of guy.
Probably,
So,
yes.
and that would mean,
and running backs are.
Well, it's like you said, Roman Hemby got an invite, and I like Roman. I think he's a really good
I was
running
going to
back.
say the same thing.
But I don't know if he had a better year than Kalon when you put them side to side. So,
I mean, he got to 1,000 yards faster.
Yeah.
But I didn't see a big difference because Kalon Black has got burst speed, man. We've seen it. We've seen him bust up the middle and gone. He can battle for those yards. His legs don't stop churning, but he'll sign as
he'll get an opportunity.
Undrafted free agent, a USA.
And so Kamara will too. I mean, he was another one that wasn't.
Oh, there'll be numerous players. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think that Curtis Fork got drafted, did he?
Yeah, he got drafted by the 49ers, but it was a late round deal.
Okay, he was late rounder.
But remember, this is about the time we found out that he had played that year on a torn ACL and wouldn't be available for a full season. And
I wish I could remember, but there were a number of guys, Indiana players last year, and everywhere that undrafted free agents that sign and eventually are able to hang on with the team.
Yeah, I think sometimes being a free agent is a better situation for a player, because then he can look to see where there's a need at a position. Sometimes when you get drafted, you go to a position that, they kind of stock them, in that certain position, and opportunities are few and far between. But as a free agent, you can at least look at what somebody has coming back and know that, well, my opportunity may be better here than there. So there are some advantages being a free agent in that respect for a guy like Kalon Black. And I think, the opportunity he will get, he'll make the best of it. And like you said, I think he's a kid that gives you everything he's got. And that's the biggest thing that he brings to the table, because he's the way he runs the ball. You just, he's a bull in a china shop when it comes to running a ball. He's going to take it, and you give him an inch, he'll take it a mile. So I do like his prospects.
Look how important Indiana's running game was this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was of uber importance. But they had a great running backs room with those two. Plus, Kobe Martin was a great. When you could bring a guy off the sideline like that, first of all, when you can have a 1-2 punch like that, and then have a guy on the sideline that you're not missing much when you bring him in. But he's got another year to grow, get stronger, and he's still young. What's he going to be, a junior?
Redshirt junior, I think.
Yeah, he best. And then you've got Turbo Richards coming in, who he's already producing. But anyway, the draft, 9 guys going to the combine. It doesn't mean all 9 are going to be drafted. It's unlikely that all 9 will be drafted, but all 9 will probably get signed. They're without question. If you get an invite to the combine, unless something pops out that your speed isn't what they thought it was, this, that, or that all the crap they put you through. But at some point, I that's where, and I know the NFL has nothing but elite athletes. I don't think that there's any sport that has more elite athletes than football. It's not just about the numbers either. It's about the speed it takes to play in the NFL. I can hardly imagine it, much less, if you're not even, when you're not close to it. But I understand how fast it is. It's hard hitting it is. It's a jump from college, and these guys are hard hitting and all of that. Anyway, hell, I forgot what I was even saying. So go ahead.
Well, I just think it's in some cases, a remarkable showing of the talent that Indiana had, not just this year, over the last couple of years, that kind of went unnoticed at times, because of the way some people treated the schedule and, talking about who they played, who they didn't play, and things like that. But when it comes right down to it, the talent that they had was pretty superior in some respects. And I think that's evident by the number of guys that are at the combine and the number of guys that will eventually sign for an opportunity in the NFL. That to me is a show of growth, because I don't think Indiana's had this many guys go to the combine ever.
No, this is a record.
I don't even know what was their previous number of guys, maybe 3 at that. So when you talk about the number of guys that they got there this year, it's pretty remarkable. But and again, this is another branding, awareness thing now, especially for kids that are looking to go to the NFL or wanting to go to the NFL. This coaching staff is going to be able to show a kid about the number of guys that went to the NFL, the guys that went to the combine, and things of that nature, so that they're preparing kids to be potential NFL players. And that goes a long way as well, especially when you're talking to the elite high school player. Those kids that do have a legitimate 4 or 5-star type of rating, because those are the kids, those elite high school players are potentially going to be elite college players as well, that ultimately transitions to being an NFL player. So those are another thing for Indiana's recruiting aspects when they look and talk to kids.
Yeah, of course, Fernando Mendoza is pretty well expected to be taken first overall by the Las Vegas Raiders, where his mentor, and I shouldn't say mentor, he is now, I guess, but his, whatever you want to call it, the guy he looked up to, idolized, and I mean, that's kind of a perfect story. Who gets that? That? I mean, how does that happen? I mean, first of all, those guys usually are not part of team ownership. which I talked yesterday briefly about this. He's good in the booth, but there's a real issue because most 5% minority owners, all they do is they get to go, they sit in the suite. They get up there, watch the games, and they get good parking, and they can come into the building and, bring their kids in or friends. Hey, this is so and so, but they're not involved in player decisions, not involved in personnel matters, not involved in tutoring players. And when you are a TV analyst for the NFL, they have meetings before every game with the coaching staffs, and they're going over all of their some intricacies and things like that. I mean, they're not telling them secrets, but they're getting information that the general public doesn't know. Well, if I'm another team, I'm not going to want Tom Brady in those damn meetings.
Yeah, there is some controversy as that, that aspect of it that they went through last year. But I do think he's more involved than he probably has been. And, even though he's a minority owner in the Raiders, he has a majority ownership pass probably to be the guy that's going to be talking with the GM and things of that nature. I think, reading the tea leaves, it looks as if Fernando is going to be a number 1 draft pick of the Raiders, but you just never know until that name is turned in, because we've seen some of this before where there's assumptions about a player and at the last minute or so, something changes and that never comes to fruition. So,
well, there's who said this? Someone mentioned that I just saw it.
Well, Kubiak was very, I would say, I wouldn't say he was very vocal.
There we go. David said he was non-committal.
Okay, that'd be a good way to put it.
Of course he is. No one has come out and said it.
No, right.
So, and it's not his decision to make, and especially not for him to say, being that he just became a part of the team. You're drinking one of those sparkling ices, I noticed. What flavor?
This is a good one. This is the black raspberry.
Oh, no, son. If you want the goods, black cherry.
I have got that one too.
That will change your life. It's all I drink. I swear, during the summer, I go through those things like water.
I have been too. I've been doing a little dieting and things of that nature. And
good. Oh, well,
down about 50 pounds.
Huh? What?
Down about 50 pounds.
Wow. I hope I don't find it. Brian says you don't telegraph your picks. That's exactly right. You don't hear teams talking about who they're going to take, because for one thing, there's only one team. There's one team that can tell you without certainty who they're going to take. Because the team in second spot, they don't know. And what number 1 does will change what they're going to do.
Yeah, right.
It's just like the upcoming NBA draft. You want to be in the top 3 on that. There's 3 players that are the 3 that, and actually there's 1 and 2, and there's not a consensus on who's the 1 or the 2, because while 1 looks to be better, Darren Peterson from Kansas, he can't finish a damn game hardly for some reason. So, but anyway, yeah, you're not going to tell people who you're picking and on all of that, because there's just so much that goes into it. Roman Hemby projected among the top 5 running back prospects. D'Angelo Pons, of course. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr., Riley Nowakowski, Pat Coogan, Aiden Fisher, D'Angelo Pons, and Lewis Moore. Try to get Lewis on the show. Man, Lewis is one of those guys. I think that he's going to be in the league next year.
What I think what he brings. I think what Lewis brings to any secondary, and we've seen it with Indiana, is he's a very smart player, and you have to be a smart player at safety. And that's where his advantage, I think, is undervalued, is that he is a very smart player back there. He plays it pretty darn well and makes a lot of plays.
They're congratulating you for your weight loss. Justin did. Brian said he's got 10 to go. He needs some flavored water, apparently. Well, I'm telling you, I not to promote a store, but you could probably get it a lot of places, but it's the ice. They're in the tall. That's
tall
the one thing I hate. I hate them. They're in those tall bottles.
Probably shouldn't do that, but
I hate that though. But I hate it. Those things fall over. But anyway,
yeah, they're tall.
There's a myriad of flavors.
Yeah,
but the black cherry for me, I mean, it's literally all I drink in the summer. I just keep those things loaded up. Got to take a break. Appreciate you being with us on this Thursday. Coach Griff with us. Dustin Schutte will join us at some point, as well as I think Matt Taylor. We'll talk more about this upcoming combine. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NICOsports.com.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Jim Coyle with you as always. Coach Griff sitting in with me now, talking about the upcoming combine that will lead to the NFL draft. Indiana sends a record 9 players to the draft. To the combine. I didn't get the list for some reason. And I
didn't see the total list of invitees. I don't know if that's up on NFL.com or.
Well, and even in the my NFL portal, media portal, I didn't see it. So I'd like to see a comparison.
To see how many are from each
who
each
sent
school.
who, where are all the guys coming from and all of that. Of course, I'm sure it's available anywhere.
Yeah, they got
on
NFL.com,
right?
NFL.com has it.
NFL Draft Combine list. There we go.
Yeah.
So we'll get to see that, but I'd like to see them.
I can't believe Pavia got invited. That was surprising to me.
But you know what? That is going to be. First of all, I thought he had another year of eligibility.
No, he's out.
Okay, so he did not get it?
No, well, I don't think he's messing with it. I think he's moving on. I don't think there's a chance that he's going to get it anyway.
Well, you have to invite the runner-up to the Heisman.
Yeah, well,
But the thing is, he's going to be exposed more than he was at the Shrine Bowl, whatever it was.
Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl. First of all, his measurements, they measured him at what, 5'8" and 7/8 or 5'9" and 7/8?
Yeah, something like that. 5'9" and 7/8.
I mean, that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest about it. Because if you look at the greats that were, that were height challenged, whatever you want to call it, none of them were under 5'10".
Right.
So, yeah. But Drew Allar, Luke Altmaier, Carson Beck, there's three names that are familiar to Indiana. Indiana played all three of those guys. Jalen Daniels from Kansas, Joe Fregnano from UConn. Wow. Taylon Green from Arkansas, Haynes King of Georgia Tech, which is where Alberto Mendoza went. So he has a chance to be the starter at Georgia Tech. Fernando Baron Morton from Texas Tech, Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, Cole Payton, North Dakota State, who is now an FBS school, Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, and Ty Simpson from Alabama. It's amazing. Indiana played, four of those teams.
Yeah. It's not, I don't think it's a very strong list of quarterbacks.
It's not.
When you really look at it. I mean,
Drew Allar, I'm sorry, he didn't do much of anything. Luke Altmaier, I think that he's
okay.
Okay. Carson Beck.
I was impressed with Carson Beck. I thought he had a pretty good year considering.
I think Haynes King, we'll see.
He's a tough kid.
It's a weak quarterback class.
Yeah, like the Cade Klubnik kid from Clemson. I mean, there's a guy that had a ton of accolades coming out of high school, going to be the next second coming, and he never really got to the, I guess you would say, what the overall expectation was for him. I just don't think he was all that great at Clemson, and I don't know what his status will be when it comes to the NFL, but I can't imagine him being a top 3 round type of guy. It's going to be interesting, but like I said, I just don't think it's a very strong quarterback group this year.
It definitely is not. Looking over the running backs, there's more running backs that are invited than quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Partly because it's probably not a great class. Running backs room, that's a little different, man. Katron Allen from Penn State. Max Bredesen from Michigan. Damon Claiborne, Wake Forest. CJ Donaldson from Ohio State. None of these guys really had, Katron Allen is. Roman Hemby. Let's see. Emmett Johnson. Jeremiah Love. He's probably going to be the first running back taken.
Oh, at least.
Jam Miller. Le'Veon Moss from Texas A&M. Jam Miller's from Alabama. Jadarian Price at Notre Dame. So Notre Dame has 2 running backs in.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah, I think.
So does Penn State. Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. Wow.
Wide receivers, you're looking at Wisconsin has a wide receiver invited. That's something you don't see every day. UConn with another player. UConn had a really good year.
Great year.
So I look down through the list. Anything jumping off? Omar Cooper Jr. Elijah Surratt. Well, I guess you count. And I don't know, Roddy Nowakowski. I mean, he would be a nice slot player in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he's your traditional, fullback, NFL type of fullback, can play up in the line of scrimmage. So I think there's a lot of options for his, where to play him in the NFL. Plus, he's the kid that's, I think, pretty smart kid too. So that pays big dividends. It's a pretty strong group of wide receivers when you sit and look at it, I think. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this wide receiver group, as you can see by the number of guys listed there. It always, and then you get to the tight end group, which I don't think is as great when you look at it, but
the list gets deep when you get to the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. Defensive linemen, I think it gets even deeper. Linebackers has got a healthy list. Defensive backs has a healthy list. So yeah, it's a battle if you're going there, as D'Angelo Pons is, but he has shown, we just talked about height being an issue for Diego Pavia at quarterback. Usually that's also a problem at quarterback when you're playing in the NFL, because there are very few wide receivers who are not, 6'2", 3, 4, whatever. Doesn't matter for D'Angelo Pons. He's done that. He's done that in college. He's Velcro, man. The dude is Velcro, and that translates across defense. It doesn't. I mean, he makes up for his height challenges, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I think he's got tape to show. That's the biggest thing, is that he's got it on tape. You're not trying to sit around and project whether or not he's capable of being a cover guy in the NFL. I think he's got the tape to prove it. And and then I don't think he'll have a hard time testing out, because I think he'll, do quite well in the testing aspect of things. So I think he's got the tape behind him, and I think he'll test well, which makes him a guy that I think is very draftable, or a guy that is draftable within the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And like I said, not all these guys are going to get drafted, but they will all be signed without question. And in addition to that, there are other guys that will be signed. So it looks to be a very good year for Indiana football. The next question is, will they sign their first 5-star? I've said yes, but I don't know. I don't know what Moonshin Sales is going to do. I just find it, boy, I don't know what more a wide receiver would want when you look at what Indiana has done consistently now for 2 seasons. They have one of, if not the top quarterback in the fold, that is thrown for 9,000 yards. So the dude knows how to sling the hash. And it is an offense that throws the ball, that uses the wide receivers, and that wins. So other than money, which Indiana is not going to be the top on, against anybody they're competing with, most likely. Not only that, I don't know where they'll be money-wise on this. Is that a defining factor for him? Very possibly, because he's got to be in school for 3 years. We're not talking, this is different than basketball. These guys have to be in school for 3 years. And so he's looking at that, but I just don't know. Especially him, he could be the first 5-star. I mean, that means a lot. I mean, that you're going to be remembered for a bunch of different reasons.
Yeah, I think it's, Indiana will sign somebody who is a, elite high school player, 5-star, however you want to put it. But he'll be a guy that Indiana wants, but is not going to sell their soul to get. I just don't think, Sig's not that type. He's not going to go chase a guy because he can maybe he has enough money to do it. But if you're a wide receiver looking at Mike Shanahan's offense and what they've done, it's a very friendly wide receiver offense because there's an opportunity that you're going to get the ball thrown to you at least 2 out of the 3 downs at Indiana. So it's a very friendly offense for wide receivers. And I think that in itself, and then of course the opportunity to get to the league with Surratt and Cooper being in the mix for that opportunity, just shows you that, there's an opportunity to get to the league from here. So, but I think they'll sign somebody that, will be a 5-star coming up, but we'll see. It's just,
I do too. I do too. And it's just that I think that he has to be the first. It's just something, and to be the first with a program where it is right now, with a program that's going number one, that just won the national championship. So it's not like you're going to UAB. No offense to Alabama, Birmingham, but you're not going to some middling place. You're going to a program that's on top. Yeah. And you could still be another first for them.
Yeah. It's I don't know what the kid from is it Jalen Ramsey from Texas Tech? I can't remember if that's the kid or not, that is potentially going to flip from Texas Tech to Indiana, the defensive lineman. I don't know if he's a 5-star or not. He may be just a 4-star, but Indiana has definitely had the doors open for those opportunities to get those higher rated kids that they feel fit what they're trying to do here at Indiana. But I don't think Sig's a guy that's going to sit around and throw a bunch of money at kids just because they're a 4 or 5-star. And I think that's what Sig does the best, is that he's able to gauge the type of kid he needs in a program to win with. And I think he ultimately will do that with the kids that fit him, whether they're a 5-star or 3-star or whatever that may be. But it's going to be an interesting, 26 class, 27 class, 28 class to see what all transpires here now that they've had, they're the king of college football, and everything has been about Bloomington for about the past 2 years, media wise.
Yeah. So just looking forward, and I know some people have talked about Nick Marsh because there was a first of all, there is a Twitter account, Scott Hughes. It's crap. It's BS. It is usually filled with fake news, people, with fake stuff. It's like everything you see on the Facebook put into that. Facebook is the place that I stay away from.
Yeah,
it is worse. Just fraught with fake stuff, bad stuff, people that don't know, have a clue what they're talking about stuff. But this is an account that most people think is fake, because it's filled with so much fake stuff. It was a false report that Nick Marsh had been placed under an NCAA investigation in regards to sports betting. He was at the main issue started after a photo of Marsh from the Peach Bowl started going viral. In the image, fans noticed what appeared to be a sports betting app on his phone screen. The icon closely resembled the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's one of the biggest real money betting platforms out there, of course, which immediately raised eyes. Under NCAA rules, student athletes are strictly prohibited from placing bets on collegiate or professional sports within the NCAA's competitive landscape. That alone would be a major issue, but there's another layer. Marsh is just 19, which puts him below the legal age, all that. So that's what that even came up about. But the investigation part is completely false. It is just a made up lie. So that account takes real stuff and then makes it false. So
yeah, there's a lot of that. And the kid from Texas Tech is a 5-star. Jalen Brewster is his name. And he's the kid that Indiana was pursuing before he committed to Texas Tech. But when Texas Tech let their D-line coach go, this kid reconsidered his commitment. And it sounds like Indiana's got a great chance because Brian Haynes played with his dad at Ball State.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. But there's a common bond there between Brian Haynes and Jalen Brewster's dad.
Well, Indiana may end up getting not one but 2 5-stars, one on each side of the ball, which it's just going to make next year all that much more fun to cover and for fans to watch. Thank you, Chris. I'll get back to that. Oh, damn it. What was I saying? What were we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about the 5-star possibility that Indiana.
Oh, yeah. So that would be spectacular, but expected. You can't do what Indiana is doing and not get this kind of talent, man. It's just not possible. Winners want to play with winners. Yeah. Winners want to win, and winners want to get to the NFL. Indiana is sending 9 players to the combine. 9. Great number for any big-time program, but Notre Dame is sending 6. I mean, we know what their recruiting is like. It is way more extensive than Indiana's. I promise you, all 6 of those guys, I would be very surprised if any of them was a 3-star or below. So there's that. But looking forward to it. Chris, thank you, sir. His son plays at Bloomington North. They'll be going on their 3rd coach in 3 years. He wanted to ask if he knew of any good sought-after coaches that might want that job. Oh, it's open. Yeah, no, that would take some thought, but I didn't realize that. So, man, we got to take a break. Appreciate you. Back with plenty more right after these messages.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Ball Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Jim Coyle with you as always. Happy to be here. Happy to have you with us. Coach Griff along for the ride. We've been talking a lot about the upcoming combine, the NFL combine and draft. The combine taking place in Indianapolis. The draft in the great sports town of Pittsburgh.
That should be a raucous crowd.
Oh man, were you kidding me? What I wonder what draft does Pittsburgh have? Number doesn't matter. It's still going to be a wild night. Just, thinking about Fernando becoming the first #1 pick in Indiana football history. There's not a ton of first round picks from Indiana. I wonder how many top 10 picks there have ever been. But there's nothing guaranteed, but you never know.
Right.
Because GMs, all these GMs are, and there's a lot of time before the draft happens because stuff changes right during the draft. They're working right up. The GMs are making trades, looking at things, trying to do things, trying to put packages together. Like you saw the Pacers, they traded for Zubac, but what they gave up was 2 players and 3 draft picks. But I think that was a great deal because they're going to get probably 5 years out of Zubac. Next year, if they don't play themselves out of this damn top 3 draft pick themselves, get your #1 player back, they're set. They've got their pieces. That is awesome. Harder to do that in football because you don't get that many. You get about the same number of draft picks, but you've got 5 times the number of players on the roster. But and so it's much easier to make a mistake in football, Coach, because boy, you just don't get that many opportunities at it. Cleveland knows better than anybody because they have made more draft
blunders
picks than anybody in the history of drafting.
Yeah, it's still a crapshoot again with some of this because you still don't know.
You know what? The Browns should take Diego Pavia.
They may. Who knows? But it's still that crapshoot that we talked about before, and with these kids and how money can change them, and you just never know what you're going to get with them in that respect. But I think Indiana, the kids from Indiana are well prepared to be good pros. They understand not becoming complacent. I think some of the things that Sig preaches about is pretty understandable that NFL scouts would want in that respect. So it's it's one of those things that these kids go through a lot of different things on that day at the combine with all the testing and all the interviews and things of that matter, that these NFL GMs and scouting departments all have a pretty good handle on all the kids that are draftable and what they give them for each of their organizations.
Yeah, and there's so much goes into this. I mean, it's amazing. It's like an FBI investigation.
Yeah, it
That
almost is.
I mean, they scrutinize everything. There's nothing like the NFL draft. I think they overthink a lot of things. But that's also why the most elite athletes are in the NFL, because they go through all of this. The quarterbacks are put through the Wonderlic test. Google it. But that's been, that's gone on forever. But it's about being able to think quickly, to make decisions, on your feet, and being able to do all of that. It's a test designed just for that. But it's not an easy test. But that shows you the life of an NFL quarterback is unlike any other athlete, I think. There's no other athlete that has to do what a quarterback has to do. The thinking, the decision making, the accuracy, all of this in split second timing with, 4, 5, 6'3", 300-pound guys trying to knock the hell out of you, all around you. Yeah, no biggie.
Yeah, like you said, it's a very intense few days there in Indianapolis. Now we only get to see them out on the field, when the NFL Network kind of broadcasts all the different testing that's going on, and then watching position drills and stuff. But behind the scenes is where the big time background interview type of setup, different testing that goes on. It's very intense for those kids that are going through it. And part of it's because they want to see how they react to it, like you said, or, different tests that for quarterbacks or receivers, or, some coaches will put them on a board to see how good their football knowledge is, about drawing a route on the board, and, drilling down about what specifically they're supposed to do if this happens or that happens. So again, it's a very intense day. And that's why these kids, while they're out preparing for the draft, part of their preparation is what they have to endure in the interview process.
Yeah. And that's again, why you don't see, for the numbers, I don't think you see trouble from NFL players, not like you used to. There are still issues that go on, whether it be domestic issues, but that has nothing to do with NFL. I think that's just America, unfortunately. But sometimes it is, and it's unfortunate either way. It doesn't matter. But yeah, they want the best character guys as well. You can't control that. You can to a degree, but yeah, they're a very buttoned up organization.
Oh yeah, but like you said, kids are still going to be kids. They're going to do stupid things, as we've seen. And
but that's another thing about the NFL. You have that 3-year waiting period. You can't play a year and go into the league. These guys have to play at least a junior. So they're 21 years old at least, which is still young and dumb.
Right.
Trust me. I get it.
But they're
and
mature.
It's almost unfair to put a 21-year-old and to expect them, because they're playing with 35-year-olds, 30-year-olds now. They're playing with men.
Oh, yeah.
Men. And I understand how tough that would be, because I can imagine my dumbass, immature self, doing that. You're fine. Doing that. And I can't imagine the mistakes I would have made along with that. But yeah, kudos to the guys that do, right?
Yeah, it's a thing that I think with those guys, it makes a lot of opportunity that they get. But, I don't think with the kids today, like you said, being a more mature athlete by having to play for 3 years before you can actually get into the draft, puts a kid in a situation where he's a little bit more mature than, like you said, a kid that's played 1 year of college basketball that's 18 years old, and then he goes into the NBA draft. It's just, it's sometimes, like you said, it's unfair. And it's even, like you said, even from the standpoint of a 21-year-old going into the league is not always an easy thing either.
I meant to say this earlier. Yeah, Jason, draft day, watch that movie. It's pretty real to how it goes on. I mean,
yeah, it's realistic.
I'm not saying that that's how it is every time, but that's kind of lifelike. The all that last minute stuff, changing and but it's the GM, people. The coach is not making the decisions. Now, they are part of that. Don't get me wrong. Someone mentioned earlier that at Clint Kubiak, non-committal, and we talked about this. Well, yeah, that's just because, dude, he's a new coach. He has little to no say on whether they draft Fernando Mendoza or not, because I'm pretty positive that decision has already been made, Coach.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are pretty self-assured. Now they'll take Kubiak's thoughts about it, but I think they feel pretty good about what Fernando Mendoza brings to the table for the Raiders organization. When you look at that quarterback list, who else on there is going to, that in theory is better than Mendoza in all facets, not just the ability to throw the ball, but all facets, being smart, being, understanding the game. So I do think they've got their card ready to turn in for Fernando. And like I said, unless something drastically changes, which it could, you never know, but I think he's pretty self-assured that he's going to be the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, you can't say it's definite, but this is going to happen because the situation. They need a quarterback. They need a franchise quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is the best pick of these. And I'm not saying that because you think I'm a homer or whatever. Go look at the numbers. Damn. No, he was number one in a lot, but he was number one in the most important category, winning, toughness. He won. Not only did he win, not only did he make incredible throws, not only did he make incredible winning throws and had great receivers, no less, but he got the crap knocked out of him all along the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, at Penn State, he gets sacked on that final drive on the first play. So now instead of having 80 yards to go with no timeouts and just over a minute to play, they had 87 yards to go.
Yeah.
With no timeouts. And it's already second down in what?
17.
18?
Yeah. Something like that.
So that's what they saw. That's what they see. Now, does that mean greatness in the NFL? No, nothing automatically means greatness in the NFL because it's tough. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Being a quarterback in the NFL is the toughest athletic job in the world, I think. Other than, it's the toughest one. It's even more than bull riding or anything like that because you just get on and get off. But, there's just so much with it. That's why.
Yeah. I was just going to say, look at Sam Darnold, the quarterback from the Seahawks, and finally got a, Super Bowl. He's bounced around the NFL for years. Now, he came out of USC as the proverbial number one pick way back when. He went to the Jets. It was probably the wrong organization for him, but he was their first pick. But, he essentially just bounced around the league for the next how many years And he just finally got himself to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. So like you said, it's not like you're going to walk in and instantly have this monumental success that's going to propel the team to the Super Bowl in year one.
Absolutely. And it's going to be fun to watch these, because this is going to get more and more of a regular thing for these Indiana players to be drafted, which now some of them are going to go to teams that are favorites of certain fans, because everybody's got their own NFL team, man. They're spread out across the deal. Hell, there's 49ers fans there that, you've got Curtis Rourke on a roster. There's so many. AJ Barner just played in the Super Bowl. There's tons of guys that are still in the league right now, but it's probably going to double. I mean, this class alone may double the number of former Indiana players that's in the NFL. I don't know what that number is.
Yeah, there's a high probability that it will. And it's probably, it's going to be a fun day in that respect for Indiana, and especially the coaches, because they've had a hand in developing the kids that are now going to have the opportunity to go to the NFL. And there's a lot of great storylines there. You talk about Elijah Surratt. That kid, was a 0-star, not even rated. And all he did was go to a non-scholarship school, then bounced to JMU and was given the opportunity to come to Indiana. And it's been a fairy tale story from that point forward and what he's been able to do on the field. So there's going to be a lot of excitement around those kids when it comes to the draft day. And, hopefully they all get that opportunity, or at least get an opportunity to sign as a free agent.
Yeah. And man, that first round, it's life-changing money.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, now they're all coming out of college and have all been paid probably pretty well for the average person. I mean, Fernando, he made at least $2 million last year, but he made more than that because is making more than that because, my gosh, he's doing a bunch of marketing already. Wait till his ass gets drafted number 1 overall in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That dude is going to be. Someone asked, Bill Bender was on with me yesterday and asked if he was going to be the next Peyton Manning. And I said, yes, with a caveat. I think he can be that next guy, but he's not going to be as big as Peyton for a couple of reasons. Number one, Peyton won a couple Super Bowls. So until you do that, you're not up there. But as far as a marketer, he's got nothing but positivity, man.
Yeah.
He's a winner. Now he's going to the last place team in the NFL, and that's going to affect that, but that's not going to affect him, his personality. People love that. He's very positive. He is a winner. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. People flock to that stuff. But he doesn't have the comedic chops that Peyton does. He doesn't have the comedic timing that Peyton does. Peyton's a funny dude.
Yeah.
And Eli actually is. He's not as funny as Peyton, but he's kind of funny too. He did the Chad Powers thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty damn funny in that.
I think they all have a little bit of.
Who's your coach? Oh, my mom. Hey, we've got to take a quick break. Glad to have you along. Coach Griff is with me right now. We've got more coming up. Back with it and more after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On this Thursday, Jim Coyle with you as always. I hope you're having a great day. It looks like it's going to be nice out there at least. It's not exactly spring, but hey, it ain't freezing.
That's right.
It's above freezing, as a matter of fact. The snow is creeping backwards, Coach. It's slowly disappearing, but it's doing so in a nice way. I was very fearful that it was just going to be a big sloppy mess because the snow was going to go away, but it went away slowly. But I think it's going to rain this weekend. With the ground already being saturated with all of this snow, that might change things a little bit. Tonight in Oakland in Hot Springs, Arkansas, site of the 30th Royals Award. The winner announced tonight, Bryant Haynes, up for that award. If he does not win this, it's crap. I got so sick. I got tired of hearing about how badass Ohio State's defense was. It was good, but it was not better than Indiana's, period.
Yeah.
And Indiana's was built with guys that are not comparable with the recruits that are on that Ohio side. Like,
is Shanahan still up
if he didn't win?
Yeah. Is Shanahan up for that as well or no?
I do not know.
I don't know if they do it by offense or defense. I have to.
I think, well, you know what? I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't think
there's one winner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the kind of the. Yeah,
well,
but
you talk and I'll look for a second.
Yeah, I think, Bryant was there a year ago. So this is his second trip back to that award ceremony. Yeah, I think he's
not
done
a finalist, I can tell you that.
Okay. He's done enough over the last 2 years with this Indiana defense to show that, he's a very worthy recipient of that type of acknowledgement in the world of college football. Yeah, I hope he does get that opportunity. For him, it'll be just a recognition of what he's done. But Brian isn't, he doesn't get all caught up in that, type of stuff anyway. I think he appreciates the acknowledgement, but he's a guy that, is going to put those on the shelf where they belong and, put his nose to the grindstone to get the next year's defense ready to go when it comes time to, put the pads on here come March, which is right around the corner. It's hard to believe that spring ball is fastly approaching. And we'll get a chance to see what this 2026 team is going to be, look heading into the spring, all the spring practices and stuff. But yeah, I think he's definitely worthy of the award, having been there for 2 years.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter to me how long. Just what
Indiana's defense did all year long
Oh,
and
absolutely.
what they did to Alabama, 3 points. Oregon, hello. Get out of here. The other 3 finalists, little irony here. Corey Heatherman of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be the co-defensive coordinator at James Madison with Brian Haynes.
Yep, he was with Sig for 3 years there.
Patricia from Ohio State, and then Texas Tech's Shield Wood, which, you know, they were decent, but pretty decent, but they were not in the elite category. Miami, they had a great defensive front line, but Ohio State, probably the second best unit, in my opinion. But Indiana, far and away. Hell, Lewis Moore had 1 less interception than Ohio State had as a team. So, but
Patricia, you could put anybody as the defensive coordinator, I think, at Ohio State, and they could have about the same output because of the
they go through enough defensive coordinators. So
yeah, they got enough talent there because, like you said, they're getting the elite recruit or transfer, however you want to look at it. I'm not taking away anything from Patricia. I mean, he's a good defensive coach, but I think some of the award acknowledgement for him may be a little bit about name recognition more so than anything.
Yeah, and it would certainly be a cherry on top of the awards that Indiana has already taken.
Yeah, they've got a lot.
I mean, forget about all of the team awards, because you need an entire trophy case just for the awards you saw during the ceremony that they had. But how many Coach of the Year awards did Sig win this year? I mean, literally, seriously, there was probably 6, Big Ten, and then 4 or 5 other national awards. That's this year. Doesn't include last year. Then you've got Fernando, the Heisman, Offensive Player of the Year. You can go on and on. Now, the Broyles Award. If you have the Heisman, the National Coach of the Year, and the Broyles Award winner, I wonder if that's ever happened before. One would think. That's going to take some research, so y'all can get after it if you want. Beat me to it so I don't have to do that. But that would be something interesting to know. I agree with you, man. I agree with that. And I agree with that. Appreciate you, Jim. He says it's always great when we're on. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of you guys. He said Alabama went a long way to kick a field goal. That's true. Boy, they sure did. It took a lot of people they say it takes a village. Woo! It took Tuscaloosa to get a field goal in. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And
it's true. It's not
2,000 miles for a damn field goal. That should be a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah, with the Rose Bowl. This is
went 2,000 miles to the Rose Bowl, and all I got was this effing t-shirt.
And a field goal.
Yeah, and a field goal, exactly. Exactly. That's a great t-shirt, man.
Send that to Feinbaum.
Oh, man. Oh, yes. That would be all right. Here, I've seen some way too early. Yeah, let's get them printed up. We'll sell them. But oh, damn it.
Way too early, top 25 or whatever.
Yes, thank you. And already there are I think 8 Big Ten teams in there. 9 SEC teams. And the thing that aggravates me is there's no way in hell anybody other than people that actually cover teams, if they're honest, I mean, if they're neutral, which I don't care what people think. I'm neutral, damn it. If it's great, I'm going to say it's great. And if it's more great than bad, that's what it is. I'm not going to change that. If it's more bad than great, that's how it's going to be. I mean, if you've listened to me long enough, I think you know that. I say what it is. When it's good, it's good. Right now, Indiana football is freaking great. They're doing the best job in the country. What the hell am I supposed to say? There's nothing to pick on. Basketball this is a ghost year to me. With what I call a ghost year, coach. I'm not there's no negativity. I mean, yeah, we can analyze some games and stuff like that, but there's no judgment on the program, no judgment on their direction, because this is a year that you get to come in and do some things and set everything up and try. That team's gonna make the tournament. Well, they've only made the damn tournament 2 times in 9 years. So, unfortunately, while it should not be a big deal for Indiana basketball to make the NCAA tournament, yes, it's a deal. It is a deal. They didn't make it last year, and they had a $10 million roster. So, no, there's no judgment this year. Next year, that changes. And I don't mean that negatively. I just mean then you start saying, hey, all right, what's happening? What's going on? I mean, we've got a good idea of what how the team will play because they played their asses off. I'll tell you that no matter what.
Yeah, they play hard.
They play hard. They play defense. God love Connor Enright. That little dude, he should not be playing for an upper level Division I basketball team. But he is, and he's playing his little butt off, and he makes a difference on this team. And he's made the most difference when he's been given the most opportunity. And he has been given that opportunity with Peyton Conaway's injury. And he stepped up. The dude has performed. He doesn't turn the ball over. He gets rebounds. He gets assists. He scores, but sometimes he gets into double figures. Doesn't always. He's not looking to score first, but has. And he's hit some big shots. So, man, you want to talk about the dude that has held that team together? That's been Connor Enright. Now, the guy that's led it has been Lamar Wilkerson. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Tucker DeVries has been really inconsistent. Looks like he may have things kind of figured out a little bit. Nick Dorn, boy, was playing well and then kind of went into the weeds. If they could get him back to playing like he was, and Tucker DeVries playing like he can, with Connor Enright playing like he is, and Lamar Wilkerson, this is a dangerous team to play. It's not one you're going to want to play in the first or second round of the NCAA tournament. If they can play like they're capable of, it is not a team that most people will want to play because they're going to defend the hell out of you and they're going to shoot the ball unless you've got somebody. Purdue last night at Nebraska, they had a 22-point lead. Much like Indiana had a 16-point lead in the second half. And Nebraska able to come all the way back, force overtime. Could have won the game, Coach, but they could not get that done. And Purdue gets a huge, huge win. They had been kind of struggling. I don't know what that'll end up doing for Purdue. It'll probably keep them on the 3 seed line at least, so they don't drop below that. That's a big, big win. So that may help them stay on the 3 seed line instead of dropping. Other than that, it's not going to do a lot. Ed says that Sam Alexis is getting better. Sam Alexis is playing. Yeah, I didn't mention him. I should have. If he continues to play the way he is too, that is also part. Lamar Wilkerson, Sam Alexis, Tucker DeVries, Nick Dorn, and Connor Enright.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is your starting five right there that you should stick with, even when Tayton Conaway is fully healthy. I like what Connor Enright has done from a statistical stand. You can just look at the stats and say, "Ooh, they're getting a little more done with him."
He's got a little more energy.
So it's all fun stuff, bro. It's all fun. But yeah, getting to the tournament is a big deal when you've done it 2 times in almost a decade. So yeah, take that and enjoy it, and know that instead of going into the tournament thinking this or that, if they make the tournament, I think that they could be a Sweet 16 team, but I don't see them necessarily as an Elite 8 team, but I do think that they can upset. If they get to that second game, depending on the matchup, they can easily, if they play the way they can beat about anybody. Ed thinks Connor Enright's the Dane Fife of Indiana. Yeah, good comparison. A lot smaller version, but there's that. State of Steele, the coach of Miami, Ohio, is who they need if DeVries falls flat. Oh, yeah, we're not talking about coaching changes. Nope. There's no reason to talk about a coaching change. Russell says number 9, most likely will play the number 1. Yeah, but they're not going to be the number 9 seed unless they beat one of Illinois, Purdue, or Michigan State. And only one of those games, the Michigan State game, is at home. If they don't beat one of those teams, they're not moving up to a 9. They're not moving up to the 9 level. I think that they'll be a 10 seed, which is actually better. You don't have to play the number 1 team in your second game. So that will end up being better for Indiana, in my opinion. But we shall see. Hey, let's take a break. Coach is along for the ride. More coming up. Appreciate you being with us. Back with plenty more right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
example of that.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Glad to be here. Jim Coyle with you as always, Coach along, and our good friend Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. Matt, we've been talking a lot about the upcoming combine. Indiana, of course, sending a program record 9 players to this, 3 more than Notre Dame. So this is a great representation for Indiana, and that alone will do wonders for the program. But, man, not all of these guys are going to get drafted, obviously, but they will all most likely sign either way as either being drafted or an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they also had some notable snubs, I thought. You talk about Kamara, I don't think got invited. Kalon Black, how does he not get invited to the NFL?
Thank
combine?
You.
Man.
We had a whole segment a minute ago talking about that. He's one of my favorite players to watch. This dude is a fire truck on wheels with a jet engine. I'm like, dude, he's getting signed. He's going to be a steal for somebody.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a late round pick or, as you said, undrafted free agent. I don't want to be too critical when it comes to the Senior Bowl selection process and also the combine selection process, because that's a tough thing. I mean, they've got guys. They have radars, obviously, in all the different levels of football, Power 4 and FCS and, Group of 5. And then they want to be as inclusive as possible. You can't invite everybody. Every year there's going to be snubs. I remember talking to Jim Nagy. He's no longer in the role, but forever, for several years, he was basically the director of the Senior Bowl. And, they start working on this process. I mean, it's year round for them. And, there's guys that, they're high on before the season starts, in early September. But their roster of invitees is always changing. It's ever evolving, because there are guys like Kalon Black that kind of show up late, take on bigger roles. I mean, I think if Charlie Becker were a senior, I think he's kind of a great case in point where, like, he doesn't show up big for IU's offense until, whatever it was, week 8 or week 9, right? I know he's only a sophomore, but you get what I'm saying. There's always guys like that every year that kind of show up that are deserving of more all-star game attention and more, just individual draft prospect attention. But as you said, I mean, listen, nine guys from Indiana, more than Notre Dame. I mean, what a feather in Kurt Cignetti's cap and the program's cap, because, winning is everything, but also player development is a big part of that. And that's attractive for players to want to go to Indiana, on top of being part of a winning culture and doing big things from a team success standpoint. But if you can develop guys and you've got a proven track record to get guys drafted and into the league, I mean, that was always John Calipari's, fame or, claim to fame was, I might have a young team every year full of one and dones, but, the happiest day of our program is draft day every year, because these guys get to fulfill their dream of becoming professional athletes. And for a lot of guys, that's a huge goal. And so to be able to go to Indiana to achieve that goal, but also being part of a winning culture and a winning team, that's just icing on the cake. So, I mean, it's a huge day for Indiana to send all of those guys to the combine.
Coach?
Well, when I look at it, when we talk about that, do you know, Matt, the parameters for the combine invite and all that?
I don't. I mean, I do know there's obviously a selection committee, if you will. I mean, it's not that, but for lack of a better term, I mean, it's guys like Jeff Foster who are in, he's big part of the national. I want to say it's the National Scouting Foundation, which is a big organization that works basically hand in hand with the NFL to help put on the combine. So they help with the invitation of players, the format of their workouts and things like that, and also just helping facilitate information to the scouts and the GMs that are on hand, to disseminate all of that, and also help set up the medical resources, the X-ray machines and the MRI and things like that. So, yeah, it's a huge.
I didn't even bring that up. I talked earlier about all this different stuff. That's not even things I even
thought of or brought up. All of all the different crazy things guys go through, X-rays, MRIs, the Wonderlic test for quarterbacks. What are some of the other, not necessarily crazy or unusual? I mean, an X-ray is it's not unusual, but for this, you don't think about that.
Yeah, I mean it's a one-stop shop, and this is for teams. As you guys know, I mean, the NFL draft is the lifeblood of the NFL. Like, if you don't draft well, especially at the top, and get true difference makers, I mean, you're not going to be a good team, right? So we talk about difference makers, guys that play those premium positions, quarterback and receiver and left tackle and pass rushers, right? Guys that, you know, directly impact the game, put the ball in the end zone and take the football away, keep it out of the end zone. And so if you're going to spend premium selections, first and second round picks on these guys, you got to know what you're getting. And that's why the combine is such an important part of the draft process. You got to figure out who these guys are mentally, what they're made up from a character standpoint. That's why all these interviews are so important. Get to know these guys, what makes them tick off the field. Now, you don't get the truest of evaluations because you're only going to meet with these guys for a handful of minutes, a handful of times, but it's a good baseline. Like, what makes this guy tick? And if I'm going to invest this huge draft pick on this guy, I got to be right about it. So I got to know what his injury history is with the medical evaluation and the MRIs and the X-rays. I got to know what he's made up mentally and character-wise. And I also got to know what he can handle mentally, right? So when these guys go into interviews and meetings with teams, you'll see it a lot in the skill player positions, quarterback and receivers and running backs. They're going to give these guys basically like a 15-minute playbook and just see what they can remember, see what they can retain. How much do they know about football? How much natural football IQ do they have? So they just want to see these things. And, for the players, it's a gauntlet. No pun intended. It is the biggest interview of their life, and they are just put through the absolute ringer during that 6 or 7 days in Indianapolis. I mean, you got the workouts themselves, you've got the meetings, you've got the medical evaluations, and then on top of that, you've got the Wonderlic test scores, which is just an acumen test. And it's kind of a one-stop shop for all the media folks too. So you'll have, TV and radio stations that want to talk to you and hype you up. You'll go through, the Madden testing. You'll get your picture and your headshot and your likeness, all scanned for the video game in case you get drafted. I mean, there's just every single minute of your day for an entire week in Indianapolis, if you're a prospect, is scheduled out, and you've really got no free time, and you got to budget and be on top of your game in all these different facets of on the field stuff and off the field stuff too.
Yeah, and it's wild to I mean, it is just the craziest job interview anybody ever goes through in life. I don't, people can't grasp how thorough this is. I've talked about, this is why the NFL has the most elite athletes in all of sports. There's no question in my mind, that's a part of it. They put them through so much that's why it is so hard to be an NFL player. You have to be one of the best athletes in the world, Matt.
Well, it's just such big business too. I mean, again, if you get the draft wrong, GMs are losing jobs. Coaches are getting fired. That's why they put so.
It depends on where you are.
Well, you get what I'm saying, right? So I mean, if you screw this up, there are big time ramifications. It sets your franchise back years, right? I mean, if you whiff on quarterback, if you're a top 5 team and you whiff on quarterback, we've seen what that does, and now you're just chasing, important positions. If you miss, on pass rusher or cornerback, you're just chasing that, trying to get it right. Meanwhile, you might have other positions on your team that are set up, ready to go, and you waste prime years just because you're not able to win and get those true difference makers. That's why the draft is so important, and that's why the combine is so important, because it's the big, I would say precursor to the draft, because you get all this one-stop information on players.
Coach. Hey, speaking of the draft, Matt, What do you think are going to be some of the immediate needs the Colts are going to look at this year?
Well, I mean, first before the draft, you've got free agency, right? So you got 22 in-house free agents for the Colts, which sounds like a lot, but that's kind of I wouldn't. I mean, maybe it's a little bit higher than normal. I mean, every year in the NFL, most teams are going to have 7 to 8 starters from the year before or years past who are free agents. So the Colts have some big decisions to make this year, obviously, with Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce. Those are the big ones. But then they have other starters they have to make decisions on, like Mo Alley Cox and Neville Gallimore and Braden Smith and Nick Cross. So I think once they get through those things, they'll have a better idea of how they want to supplement and attack the draft. But the key thing is this year for the Colts, they made that big move at the trade deadline last year, right? They were 8-2. Trying to make the playoffs for the first time in 4 years, loved where they were with Daniel Jones, and so they went all in, and they traded away 2 first-round draft picks for Sauce Gardner, who is a terrific player that plays a premium position at corner and is going to be under contract through 2030. So the move made a lot of sense. It just, in the immediacy, it didn't produce results because Gardner got hurt, Daniel Jones got hurt, the Colts fell off the cliff towards the end of the season and missed the playoffs. But I think in the long run, that move's going to pay off big-time dividends for the Colts. But in the meantime, they don't have a first-round pick, and they got needs. I think defensively is where they really need to I wouldn't use the word overhaul this offseason, but they definitely need to upgrade. They've got to upgrade the defensive line. They've got to find more ways in 2026 to disrupt the quarterback and get more pressures on opposing offenses. It just didn't happen this year. They've got some key free agents in that regard. This offseason, Tyquan Lewis and Samson Ebicom, right? Kwity Paye is a free agent for the first time. So they got to make some tough calls there, but they've got to upgrade that position. But if you don't have a first round pick, how are you going to do that in the draft, right? You can draft a defensive end in the second round, but history tells us that guy's not going to come in right away in the immediate rookie season and get you 10 to 12 sacks. It's just hard, right? Those guys get drafted in the top 10, and even those guys take a little bit time to get acclimated to the NFL. So they got needs on defense. I just don't know how they attack them in the draft. You might see the Colts kind of be a boom or bust team at some of those premium positions on defense in free agency, considering what they have or lack thereof in terms of draft resources.
We will certainly find out, Matt. I cannot thank you enough, my friend. As always, it is a joy to have you on, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, do I have time? Do I have 2 minutes to talk to you about something?
Absolutely. Fire away.
All right, just 2 minutes. All right. This would be right up your alley, Jim. In the off season.
First of all, anything you've got, I'm in.
Hell yeah. All right. So just bear with me. All right. In the off season now, the last couple of years I've wanted to do this, and it just, life's gotten in the way, but I bared down and got it done. So at the end of the season, I told myself, I love to play trivia. Okay. And I don't want to go to a bar and be there for like 2.5 hours and get asked a bunch of like pop culture and geography questions. So I basically came up with a game that I would want to play and that I think I would be really good at. It's called Indiana Sports Trivia. All right, these are questions about the Colts and the Pacers and IU and Purdue and Notre Dame and Butler and IndyCar and some high school stuff. So I'm going around town here in central Indiana in the Indianapolis area, and I'd love to get it down in your neck of the woods in Bloomington as well. But I am hosting Indiana Sports Trivia at several different bars and restaurants around town, and we're just having fun. And it's a trivia game. It takes about an hour and a half. I'll get you in and out of there, but I want to test people's knowledge when it comes to local sports. Indiana Sports Trivia. I'd love for you to come play. I'm doing it on Thursdays all around town. Would love for you to come play and check it out. Would love to get it down in Bloomington one of these days, but I think you'd be really good at it, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy doing it.
Do you do it at, like, if you came to Bloomington, would you do it at one place each Thursday or have different places?
I could do it. I'm definitely open for it. Right now, it's Thursday evenings at a different spot around town. We start at 7:00. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you there all night because you know how trivia games go. It can kind of drag a little bit. You know, you're keeping score, and I don't want to do any of that, right? I just want to. You're there to be asked the questions and have a good time. So yeah, this takes about an hour and 20 minutes. Starts at 7 o'clock most days or most Thursdays that I'm doing it. But yeah, whatever you're open to and whatever we can get done, I would love to have you come and take it around Bloomington because there's a lot of IU questions in there too.
Well, I'll find a place. That's not an issue. Don't worry about that.
You are the man.
Five Left's asking, where will you be in Fishers?
Okay, so here's my upcoming schedule. So tonight I am at a place in downtown Indianapolis off of Mass Ave, a new sports bar that just opened up a couple of months ago. It's called Tiebreakers. Tiebreakers on Mass Ave. Next Thursday, which I think, what is that, the 19th, I'm at the Ale Emporium in Greenwood on the south side of Indianapolis. On the 26th, so the Thursday after that, I'm at a place called The Dugout, which is downtown Indy. And then after that, like the first Thursday in March, I'm at the Bulldog in Broad Ripple. You know, it's a big Butler hangout, so I'm up there. So yeah, it's at a different place every week, going back to some of the initial places that I've reached out to, but would love to kind of take this on the road and, you know, make it bigger and better and have some more fun.
Don't worry, got it covered, brother.
All right, dude.
We'll talk. I'll give you a call later.
You got it.
Enjoy it. Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Coach Griff as well. Thank you, sir. Thanks to each and every one of you. It is a joy and a pleasure and an honor to be with you each and every day. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.